I will obviously be talking about the Vox debate that dovetails into this exact conversation, this point of contention that we're addressing right now about like what my purpose is, what my goals are. The third way guy on Vox mentioned Shoykot and Steyer lost because of you, but didn't mention anyone campaigned with you and won. Yeah, they actually they gave the third way guys a favorable edit because the third way guys also talked about Ramen losing because of me, and they had celebrated far too early, and I actually dunked on the third way guys for saying that. I guess that didn't make it into the fucking final edit then. Anyway, but we'll get started here.
He is bigoted, he's anti-Semitic, and he is deeply misogynistic.
Hasan Piker has blown up in recent years. After the 2024 election, the popular leftist Twitch streamer became a go-to voice within the Democratic Party, looking to him for questions on how Dems should embrace the new internet, how to reach young men, or even the political cost of the Biden White House's policy on Gaza. But Piker's glow-up has angered a section of Democrats who are growing louder in voice.
He is such an extremist that it will only do damage to Democrats and hurt their chances of beating right-wing populism.
In March, a Democratic group called Third Way.
True. I'm such an extremist. Bitch, if you think I'm an extremist, you think the average American is a terrorist, okay? Why am I an extremist? Because I want fucking Medicare for all. Why am I an extremist? Because I want free college, free healthcare. I want better infrastructure. I want to stop all these fucking wars that we're waging, that all of our finances seemingly go to. If I'm an extremist, then the average American is an extremist, but you can't fucking say that. So you have to keep trying to do this stupid, idiotic disciplining thing, this disciplining method where you just fucking try to cut the head of the snake. Anyway, let's continue.
Published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal's opinion section saying, quote, Democrats are too cozy with Hasan Piker. Now, Piker is controversial, no doubt. But is he toxic? And how much of this blowback is actually about Piker the person versus the leftist politics he stands for?
I think, as a matter of fact, Third Way's brand of politics has helped Republicans.
Why?
Their attitude since the Clinton era has been to constantly concede on culture war issues to the Republican Party and never focus on economic populism, left economic populism.
Let's dig in. Now, Third Way isn't just any group. It's probably the premier centrist think tank in Washington, D.C. Their whole thing is about pushing the Democratic Party to embrace more moderate establishment candidates that more closely align with their views and, in Third Way's opinion, do better on the ballot. And while I want to know why Third Way thought it was important to publish this article this year, I wanted to begin by highlighting what the op-ed's general argument was. Here's one paragraph that I think lays out their argument well. Mr. Piker is often called progressive, but that does violence to the term. A self-identified Marxist, he has referred to ultra-Orthodox Jews as, quote, inbred, employed anti-Semitic dog whistles against an anti-Hamas viewer of his stream, compared liberal Zionists to, quote, liberal Nazis, unquote, and said, quote, Hamas is 1,000 times better, unquote, than the Israeli state. Now, I get the importance of what they're saying, and we know anti-Semitism is an important issue in this country. But I also have more questions, so I connected with John Cohen. Cohen is the president of Third Way and the co-author of this piece in the Journal. I wanted to make sure that I had a good handle on their argument and also push the organization on its motivations and goals. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Delighted to be here.
So to begin quickly, let's hear your case. You know, Third Way has argued that Democrats are too cozy with Hasan Piker. Why?
Look, bottom line is, it's a free country, and I believe in free speech. So Hasan Piker should be free to have his own show, to stream, to say and do whatever he wants. That's not the question. The question is, should Democrats be supporting him? Should Democrats campaign with him? Should Democrats seek his...
I think there's something really funny about this guy who has it ass backwards, and I kind of like brought that up a little bit in the conversation, but it bears repeating, which is when Democratic candidates have me on stage with them, that's not actually beneficial for me. Like, you have it on backwards. They're asking me to go on stage not because they love me and they're like, oh my God, it would be so sick. They do that. Well, one, because, you know, there's an ideological alignment there, but they also do that because it gives them credibility on certain issues, and it's beneficial for them. What these guys think, unfortunately, because they're wrong, it's ass backwards, is like those guys are just out of the kindness of their heart offering me a fucking platform. I'm giving them a platform, dude. What do you not understand about this?
Endorsement should Democrats cozy up to him? And the answer is definitively no. Not just because the things he says are profoundly offensive, and I will run through those in a moment, but because he is such an extremist that it will only do damage to Democrats and the Democratic brand and hurt their chances of beating right-wing populism and expanding the map across the country. Hasan Piker is anti-American. He is bigoted. He's anti-Semitic. And he is deeply misogynistic.
I kind of wanted to have two questions just to set the scene before we dig into the claims of the article. What was the impetus to publish this piece in March? You know, why this year? Trump is president. Democrats have very little power in Washington. What made you all publish this now?
Great question, instead. So we published this for a specific reason and a broad reason. The broad reason is that if Democrats are going to not just beat Trump and
here, I'll translate from corpo speak, from consultant speak. We can't yell at the growing base of support for the causes that, align against our corporate investors, like Medicare for all, free college, the litany of things that Bernie has endorsed and supported for years, and most importantly, Israel. And we can't come across constantly fucking yelling about voters not voting right or voters prioritizing things that we don't want them to prioritize. So we'll just yell at a guy who seems to be a megaphone for these issues. We'll yell at because it's much easier to yell at an influencer. You can especially an influencer like myself who has spoken on the record for more than, 10,000 hours, almost 12,000 hours at this point about these issues. It's much easier to identify key quotes that you can just keep repeatedly slamming me with over and over again. I'm getting some text messages in between. But yeah, of course it's about Israel too. It's about Israel is a great catch-all, okay? Lord, all right, let's get back to turd way. Shitting up a big fart.
Trumpism, but MAGA long run, we need to be able to build majorities in lots of red and purple places. And right now, the Democratic Party is perceived as more extreme than mainstream in many places. So if the party aligns with folks who are this extreme and cozies up to them, it's going to make it much harder, not easier, for Democrats to not just flip the House and get the White House back, but beat Vance and MAGA and Rubio and the rest of them long run. The specific impetus was that the Pod Save folks, right, very prominent Democrats, had featured Hasan Piker at a conference where they are officially elevating him and aligning him with Democrats. That's what triggered this for us, and then a series of other things beyond that.
Okay, let's jump into the article. You know, the article opens up by likening Hasan to far-right anti-Semites like Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. Part of the piece reads, quote, left-wing anti-Semites are savvier than the Nazi endorsers on the right who marched in Charlottesville, Virginia, and sat for dinner with the president. This was the first sentence that kind of jumped out to me in the piece because it does seem like Savier's doing some work here. There are material differences between Piker and Fuentes, at least some. Piker has voted for Democrats, Harris in 2024, Biden in 2020. He has openly opposed Trump, while Fuentes has openly praised Hitler, dined with Trump, kind of as the piece reference. Does that make them categorically different or just packaged differently? How is that not a material difference, just savvy, as the piece says?
Well, let me say a couple of things. First of all, Hasan Piker is dangerously close to Nick Fuentes in the level of bigotry and racism and misogyny that he espouses. I mean, it's just staggering. Let me just for your listeners, they really need to understand.
This guy is out of his fucking mind. And anyone who is even remotely familiar, Ested knows me, obviously. Ested has literally invited me to speak at University of Chicago at the Politics Institute. So it's like, I don't think this guy knows that, but it doesn't matter. And obviously, I don't think he's going to push back on any of this stuff. But it's totally ridiculous, preposterous to make this comparison. And no one with fucking half a brain cell is going to agree with this.
Who this guy is. This is what Hasan Piker said about Miley Cyrus. I want to say thank you to Miley Cyrus
for showing off her camel toe at the VMAs the other night. I always knew Hannah Montana was a little slut. Don't even try.
Dude, it's like you're posting this video that someone else unearthed for you from literally fucking 2013. The video was so unbelievably cringe, attempted satire, and I've addressed it 750 gorillion times. But it's so crazy because, like, I don't even look like this person. Not only do I obviously, not only does this obviously not represent who I am, but I don't even look like this person. It's a 240p clip that you pulled out of your ass to just be like, oh, you're a fucking misogynist. Yeah, it's a fucking sketch. And it was so lame that I didn't even fucking think it was good enough to keep out there. It was a released failed attempt at satire that we deleted literally a month after it was out in the universe. But it's, again, something that I've not only addressed a million times over. Yeah, it had a fucking satire warning as well. But it doesn't even fucking matter, right? It doesn't even matter because it's something that I've already addressed a million times over. You literally said it was satire and disclaimer of the video. I know.
Come on, instead, why are we defending this?
I guess I'm not really defending it. I'm really just asking about the specific thing that I asked about.
I know, but that's horrific. Horrific. Why should this guy be anywhere near the Democratic Party?
I just want to re-level set. I'm not here for the Hasan Piker is a good person or not question. I'm here for the claims that the article is making. And I guess I wanted to just ask my question again. Like, sure. Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens are Trump supporters who have, at times, said nice things about Hitler. Hasan Piker has not done that, has voted for Democrats, has advocated against Trump. And I'm saying, does that make him savvier or does that make him different?
Got it. So Hasan Piker he says, if you're someone who says, if I'm a liberal Zionist, it's like saying you're a liberal Nazi. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that is anti-Semitic to its...
No, it's not. Here's the reality. You know it's not. You can't argue against it, which is why you have to keep going down to your fucking notes to be like, well, this is why he needs to be deplatformed. But I'm not saying he needs to be deplatformed, but I'm saying that he's a bad guy. You shouldn't associate with him. Argue against the fucking point then. Like all this old shit that you're fucking pulling out of your ass because, someone sent it to you to be like, this guy's bad. Please don't listen to him. Who gives a fuck? Okay? None of that shit matters. The shit that actually matters is what I'm saying right now. And you can't argue against anything that I'm saying right now, so you have to keep going. But please, it's just like Nick Fuentes. Why would Nick Fuentes say liberal Zionists are like liberal Nazis? He's a Nazi. So you can't even make that fucking comparison. He literally has a positive opinion of the Nazis. He has openly stated that he is a neo-Nazi and he likes the Nazis. He said Adolf Hitler is base. Obviously, that comparison falls apart with like literally a little bit of scrutiny.
Core to say that someone who believes in the existence of Israel is the same as a Nazi. I can't really see the difference between that and Nick Fuentes. On his voting for Democrats...
I can. Nick Fuentes would consider that to be an inappropriate comparison because he's positive about Nazis.
This is what he said about Kamala Harris. He said Democrats, if they were in charge now, would be doing 100% the exact same thing. Exact same thing he means as Trump. 1-to-1. Make no fucking mistake. Anyone who tries to tell you Kamala Harris would be different...
Yeah, again, on the issue of Israel, it's so unbelievably disingenuous that we have straight up fucking adults that are Democratic Party operatives that have worked within the Democratic Party for 3 decades that are perhaps most responsible for its fucking failures, still trying to be the banner carrier for this uniparty attitude when it comes to Israel Also, even the fucking clip chimps, unironically, are probably more appealing to the average normie. Again, I can't stress this enough. Normies don't actually look at the Democratic Party's attitude on Israel or anything else, really, and think that there is like major differences anyway. I do. You're yelling at a guy who does recognize that there is differences, just not on foreign policy and especially not on the issue of Israel, with some fairly significant new developments and exceptions with respect to what Donald Trump has done.
He's a fucking delusional moron. So no, he's not for Democrats. He's for China and Russia. He has said that America deserved 9/11. America is, quote, truly the Fourth Reich with newts. So it's not I'm arguing with you. You're asking great questions. It's that I reject the whole premise. This guy is like Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
And we shouldn't be close to him.
In the article, it also says this language can beget violence. Last year, an alleged murderer, seemingly inspired by left-wing rhetoric, killed 2 people for the crime of being Jewish at the Capitol Jewish Museum. Democrats must understand that accepting anti-Semitic figures like Mr. Piker into the mainstreams puts Jewish lives in danger. Now, I think certainly unequivocally anti-Semitism is on the rise. That represents a violent threat to many Americans. I think we can both acknowledge that. But the CNMP's link there, connecting Piker to the violence, doesn't even mention his name. So I kind of was wondering where that connection came from. Saying that anti-Semitic figures like Piker puts Jewish American lives in danger seems like a pretty big claim. Do we have evidence that Piker's rhetoric has led to violence directly?
There is no question that
yeah, no, he doesn't. He's just fucking, he doesn't. He doesn't. So he's just gonna be like, well, it makes me feel bad.
extremist rhetoric, bigoted extremist rhetoric, including anti-Semitic rhetoric, on the right and the left absolutely encourages violence. There's a ton written and thought about this. That's incredibly clear. And also,
can you explain further? Can you elaborate further on how I've done this though? No, you can't. He does a long interview with him, but he does an even longer interview with me. So, where I address some of the comments that he pulls up. So, get ready. There's my part that's coming
clear. Up. Piker is someone who actively encourages violence. So, let me give you a quote from Hasan Piker. This is about people who own property. Kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist blood, dude. So, yeah, Hasan Piker encourages violence in the United States.
Did he interview him before you? Yeah. So he interviewed this guy. He did the classic, like, all the fucking bits, all the greatest hits, like, oh, look at this. I'm so scared of him. Like, he is a scary guy. Why won't you believe me? Why won't you believe that he's a scary guy? Bitch, I own property. The fuck are you talking about? I literally famously purchased a home. What are you saying?
Period. End of story.
Okay, we're moving on.